Welcome back, everybody, to Take Two Podcast, an exclusive interview with a producer, an actress, an everything extraordinaire, Miss Maria Breeze. My name is Brian. Thank you guys for listening and watching Take Two Podcast here. Maria, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for jumping over to Take Two Podcast. I'm very excited to chat with you because you have a lot of stuff coming up, but you're doing something I'm jealous of as an actress that I really want to chat about with you in a minute. But first thing I got to ask you is our podcast is based out of Washington, D.C. I live in Maryland. My co-host is in Virginia. We work on Capitol Hill. You are a D.C. native as well?
I am. Yeah. I was born in DC, raised in Northern Virginia.
Okay, gotcha. But then you left us.
I did leave you. I went to went to college. I went to college. I ended up graduating in Tampa, and then I
Oh,
moved right out here to Los Angeles for warmer pastures, I like to say,
gotcha. So we did the swampy weather of DC down to the swampy Tampa, but then to the beautiful Los Angeles.
where
Okay.
I live a mile away from the beach, and I don't
Hmm.
think you could move my dead body from here. I'm here
Humble,
forever.
humble brag, humble brag. Now wait, time out though. All that beautiful
Yeah.
weather, and I just described DC weather as beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, you spent some time in Oxford?
I did, yeah. I did
Okay.
it in a abroad program. I
Oh,
studied
nice.
with the British America Drama Academy, which was an experience. I lived in a dorm room that was built in the 1300s, and
Wow.
I have a huge obsession with Ireland and England and history. And for me, I think about that time pretty often. It was pretty incredible. I studied
That,
Shakespeare while I was there.
why not? When
What?
in Rome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, it's crazy you bring that up. My wife and I honeymooned in Ireland and Italy, and then we also took the family as a vacation to London. And one thing that just struck me is when you're there, they're like, this building was built in 1000. And you're like, God, as rich as the American history is, it's like, woo, that was built in 1810. That's nothing. We've got all these historical things that were just so long ago, which made it so much cooler.
It's so funny that you say that because I was just having that conversation with my husband. I'm like, did you realize that Oxford was built, I think it was like 1085,
That's
something
insane.
like that. And Balliol College, where I went, which was one of Oxford's colleges, has all these old buildings and these old libraries. And, here we are. I'm very proud to be American, but I'm also a dual citizen to Wales. And
Ooh,
so, for me, growing up in DC, we look at this old architecture and all of our monuments, and like that's really like the richest thing we have, the oldest stuff we have, in like maybe colonial Williamsburg.
right, right.
Loved
It's been a
going
while.
on field
Yeah.
trips there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an eighth grade field trip for any DMV native for sure. All right, you mentioned your husband. Let's get him out of the way.
Yeah, sure.
My birthday is August 22nd.
No
His
way.
his is as well, right?
Yes, you guys
Awesome.
are both cuspers. Well,
Yes,
happy
yes.
belated.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I obviously just had it over the weekend. Mine was the big 4-0 this past weekend. I think he's a wee bit younger than I. Yeah.
he just turned 33.
Okay, but I have better hair, so we're just going to go with that.
100%, but don't tell him I said that.
Thanks, thanks. I was like, holy crap, doing my research. I was like, well, there's at least one thing I can bring up.
That is
Wh-
so cool. You
Forget
guys
the
share a birthday with a lot of famous people.
Yeah, Ty Burrell, Bill Parcells. There's a few like really big ones out there. Forget the fact that
Yeah,
he's a professional athlete. We're not mentioning that about your husband. Just that he has the best birthday ever.
best
Okay,
birthday.
let's work our way backwards. Let's get back onto you. First thing is in November you have a movie coming out called Teachers Watching. It's got Omar Gooding and Jackie Moore in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Al Sapienza also, he plays
Okay.
my father-in-law,
Oh,
which
cool.
is really cool. Yeah, and I loved him on The Sopranos. So working with him was totally an experience. And I don't get intimidated very often, but it
Hmm,
felt like, he's really truly that person. And
sure.
it's like, you could be working with the mafia, but we just won't talk about it. And I remember like the first day of filming, he knocked on my trailer and was like, wanted to come introduce himself. And I was like, oh my God, am I gonna get
That's insane.
hacked? But no, I'm very, very excited for this movie. It's a thriller,
Okay.
which was really fun for me because throughout the history of my career, I've always managed to get cast in comedies.
Hmm.
And this was like the first time I was really able to, show something a little bit different from my my very extensive repertoire. So yeah, no, I'm very excited. I just saw kind of some of the scenes that aren't color mixed and sounded, but I'm very, very excited to see it all come together.
Very cool. That is being released on VOD. On where are we gonna be able to find it?
Yeah, so it'll be through Netflix.
Oh, even better. That's the best VOD. There we go. Humble
Yeah,
brag again. All right. So teachers watching, coming out on Netflix. We'll be sure to chat more about that. November. Do you know the date or just November?
I don't. They've
Okay.
just given me November.
We'll grab it. We'll figure it out down the road. Now, so I grew up at one time trying to be an actor too. Listen, you have your repertoire has like something way more IMDb credits than my own. So keep that for yourself. But in there, actors when they're on set, everyone's like, "This acting's fun," but you ever thought about directing? Have you ever thought about writing? And they chit chat. None of them do the smart thing and go into producing. You, on the other hand, like, I'm just going to do my own production company. You have 333 Creative. You've done quite a few independent films. I'm sorry, I had to write these down because there was a few. Untogether with Jamie Dornan, Billy Crystal, Alice Eve. That's nuts. Swing of Things with Luke Wilson. How did you, A, get into this and then start getting into these big time actors on your shows?
So it's kind of it's there's a story here.
Awesome.
I my best friend who I grew up with, we went to school, we went to middle school and high school together. She's a writer out here in LA. She graduated with her master's from Columbia, and for her senior thesis, she's like, "Hey, I wrote this really cool pilot. I need to come up with something for my thesis. Can you help me produce it?" And she's like, I've got my people, you've got people that you know out here. Let's see what we can come up with together. And together we raised $50,000 to shoot
Oh,
this
wow.
pilot because it was really funny. And we thought, why not give it a real shot instead of spending money on something that might not ever go anywhere, which, is fine. Let's see what we can do. So we made it happen. And from there, somebody else came to me and said, "Hey, I need help, finding locations." And it kind of just like spiraled. And I was looking for a location on Electric Love, which was another movie I was producing with Victoria Fratz.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, she's great. And I got in touch with this producer, Luke Daniels, who said, "Hey, one of my investors has a beautiful home that you could shoot at." Um, so he's asking me about what I'm working on and what I'm doing. And I told him I raised private equity. And he's like, "How do you feel about working with me twice a week and coming in and coming to the office and just kind of learning from me and working together eventually?" And I was like, okay. So I did that for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's, I worked with him on Untogether and on Swing of Things.
Okay.
And it was such an incredible experience learning from him because he's produced and executive produced over like 70 films in the last couple of years.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Nice.
he's killing it. Yeah, he
Nice.
really does an incredible job. And, no producers are interesting because you could learn from somebody, but you can't do it like them. So I had to
Mhm.
kind of develop my own relationships and develop my own techniques. And when my son was born, I just decided to go off and do my own thing. And now I have my own projects. And Luke and I still talk, and we're still cool. And I wish him the best, but I wouldn't be where I am now without him, for
That's
sure.
awesome. That's very cool. So where did the name 333 Creative come up from?
I was born on August 3rd, so I'm a
Okay.
Leo as
Fellow
well.
Leo. All right.
Yeah, Leo. And 333, that's three threes. I'm obsessed with the number three.
Okay.
And creative. I just figured it would give me an opportunity to kind of build whatever it is that I decided I wanted into a production company because I didn't want to limit myself to just film and TV if I wanted to bring something else in.
That's very cool. That's pretty wild. So with your production company, do you have a couple of things either upcoming, halfway home might be coming up soon? Is that through you guys?
Yeah, Halfway Home is one that we kind of started the beginning of the pandemic and we've kind of put back on the shelf just because other people have picked up other projects.
Mhm.
But it is something, Bill, the writer, it's something I'm very passionate about. It's a beautiful story and it's got a lot of dramatic elements. So I want to make sure that it's done correctly. I am working on one called The Highly Combustible Life of Lavender Daniels.
Oh my. Okay.
And it's written by Jacob Johnston, who will also be directing. And Jacob used to work at Marvel, and he also worked at Crypt TV, and he's got a lot of experience in film and TV world. And he wrote this amazing script of like Mean Girls meets Carrie.
Ooh,
And
wow.
it takes like the life of a very popular high schooler, and she finds out that people have been talking about her behind her back, and she wants to get her revenge. So it's a very fun, scary, right outside the limit of realistic life. So I'm very excited to shoot that one.
I'm excited just for that hashtag when we either have to write the entire thing out or at the very least abbreviate to a degree. So
Totally.
any of these other ones coming up, when are the auditions in DC, or when are you filming them in DC?
Yeah. I keep trying to get Jacob to agree to come back to the DC metro area. One of
Uh-huh.
our producers is from Pittsburgh. And so at least if we film in Pennsylvania, we can get back to the East Coast, and hopefully we can eventually
Okay.
get down to DC. But, I would love to hire local talent. I still have a lot of friends that work in the DC metro area. And, I am a huge advocate for, working with friends and family and people that, might not get that opportunity otherwise. Because DC, there's been a couple of shows there, but
Sure.
they're few and far between. And luckily, the stage and musical theater, it seems to be coming back. And my mom did that for a long time, so
Nice.
I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, House of Cards left, and then the pandemic hit, and then like all I do more Maryland stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's gone for now. But you're right, there is some stage things and whatnot coming back. Just when you do get
Yeah,
us, when you do get something booked here, just write us in, just two podcasters in the background, just
you got it.
with the mic,
Done.
done. We
You
just
heard
put
it here first.
adding
Yeah.
it to the resume as we speak. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, I did have to ask you, when you were in Oxford, you studied with Alan Rickman, Maggie Smith?
I did. Yeah, and Fiona Shaw.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm
Wow.
like the ultimate Harry Potter nerd. And it was right at like the midst of Harry Potter coming out, and all of the movies kind of, I think they were coming to an end. It may have been like second to last.
Mm-hmm.
But Fiona Shaw did a workshop with us, which was unreal. I mean, she is such an incredible actress. And then Alan came in and did like a long intensive. He worked with Bada and Rada quite a bit. And Maggie Smith. I mean, it was just like all of my Harry Potter fantasy and dreams came true in real life with Shakespeare. And
That's
I
incredible.
don't know how else to explain that
Yeah.
in a school that's built in, 1000. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty epic.
How you didn't just ascend to heaven that day. Just
I
like,
know
that's it,
that,
I'm
that was
good.
my moment. I
That's
think my
incredible.
soul left my body at some point. Yeah.
You are amazing to talk to. Anytime you want to just come back on, just chat movies, TV,
I
anything,
would
you
love
are,
it.
oh, more than welcome. Anytime. Say the word, you can jump back on, we can chit chat, whatever you're watching, whatever you're doing. Netflix this November, a thriller, Teachers Watching. We will definitely talk to you around then and kind of promote a little bit more. 333 Creative, folks, look out for that as well. And if you're interested in any fine furniture art, Maria has a great eye for it. Look at it, it's fantastic.
My toddler's available, but he's a little pricey.
Good. I hope so. Maria, thank you for coming on Take Two Podcast.
Thank you so much.